So we are going to start our next lab, which is lab 2. In the lab 2, we'll still work with the number system, decimal, binary, and hexadecimals. But instead of doing the conversions, we'll try some operations. So for an example, at the very beginning, we'll try the binary addition, because the binary number is something we just started learning. So we'll try to see how we add two binary numbers. Okay. So we actually have some rules to do the binary addition. So if you look at the rule here in this page, then we'll apply the rule in the next step where we'll do the addition. Now for an example, when you are, the rules are actually based on bits, because you are just adding different bits and then we'll write the rules for those bits. So for an example, when you are adding 0 plus 0, your sum is 0, carry would be 0. Remember, if you do the decimal addition, you sometimes have a carry, right? If the sum is like, what, 10 or more, then you have a carry, right? Similarly, in the binary, you also have carries in some cases. So for an example, if you are adding 0 plus 1, then your sum is 1, carry is still 0. If you are adding 1 plus 0, again, sum is 1, carry is 0. But if you are adding 1 plus 1, which actually should be 2, right? That's what it is, because your sum is 0, carry is 1. So we'll actually follow these rules, because if you are just doing 1 plus 1, it should be 1, 0, right? That means your sum is actually this one, and this one becomes carry. So we are just writing those at the right side. Now we also want to see how, if you add 3 bits, works. Okay. So for an example, if you just add 1 plus 0, your sum is 0. I'm saying your sum is 1, carry is 0. If you add 1 plus 0 plus 1, your sum is 0, carry is 1. 1 plus 0, again, sum is 0, carry is 1. If you add 3 ones, then sum is 1, carry is 1. But the idea is this. If you look at this one, you probably will understand it very easily, because it's just like 1 plus 1 plus 1, which actually should be 3, right? Think about the binary 3. 1, 1 is actually binary 3, right? So we are getting sum 1, carry 1, which is actually 3 in decimal. Now, these are the rules, and I'll give you the rules now. You can, again, during the test, you can still, it's an open book test, so you can always use the rules. You don't have to memorize it. So we'll actually try to look at the rules and see how we can apply the rules to do the binary addition. Okay. All right, so now we'll apply these rules to do the binary addition. So here is our example. So as you can see, we have 2 binary numbers we are trying to add. So to add the binary numbers, we'll exactly follow the rules. So we all have the rules, right? So I also try to write the equivalent number in decimal, so that you can take a look at the addition in decimal as well. It's not required, but we just wrote it. See, we just wrote that 7, which is equivalent to the first number. Everything is in binary, because you are just adding 2 binary numbers, so the answer will be in binary. So this is 21 in binary. So this is how we add, right? So first we add what? 1 plus 1. If you go back to your rule, if you add 1 plus 1, your sum is 0, carry is 1, right? So look at this. I just wrote sum is 0, and I put the carry in the next column. You see there, the red one at the top of the next column? So that's actually the carry, right? We got the carry from here. Now you are adding 1 plus 1 plus 0. What should you get? Take a look at the rule. 1 plus 1 plus 0. What do you get? Sum is 0, carry is 1, right? That's exactly what I'm writing. Sum is 0, again the carry is 1. So I'm just putting the carry on top of the next column. Now for the next column, you are adding 1 plus 1 plus 1, right? So basically your sum is 1, carry is also 1. So sum is 1, the carry is 1. The carry goes to the next column. Now in the next column, I'm just adding 1 plus 0, which is 1, and carry is 0. If carry is 0, you actually don't have to write it, but we just try to write it, make sure you see it. So at the very last column is 0 plus 1, so the carry is 0, and sum is 1. So since the carry is 1, I did not put anything after that, okay, because the carry is 0. So the answer here is 11100. Now if you really try to convert it, you know how to convert from decimal to the binary to decimal. If you convert it, you will see this is actually equivalent to 28, which actually is correct, right? So we just converted all of those just to show you that you are just doing the addition and it's exactly correct how you do it in decimal. You don't have to do the decimal addition when you will be working on your quizzes, okay? Now, if you understand up to this point, you should be ready for first couple of questions we have in our lab 2A, where you will be given two binary numbers and you have to apply these rules to do the binary addition and write the answer in binary. Okay? Let me give a pause here so that you can try those questions in your lab 2A. So let's try our next addition, which will be hexadecimal addition. Now, again, we just learned about the hexadecimal numbers, so we'll try to see how we can add these two numbers, two hexadecimal numbers. So we actually wrote down a couple of steps here. So, and then we'll also look at some examples. So what we do is to add two hexadecimal numbers, we first put those two numbers aligned in the same line, just like how we add the decimal numbers, okay? And then add one column at a time, starting from the right side, just like the decimal addition. If you recall how you did the decimal addition, how you did, you just put the both numbers aligned and then start from the very rightmost column, right? That's exactly how we do the hexadecimal addition as well. And then we convert if any of the digit is in letters like the A, B, C, D, E, F, we convert those into numbers because we know that A means 10, right? B means 11, C means 12. So we just do that and then we try to add it. So we start from the very rightmost column. I'll show you some example, of course. And then if the sum is 15 or less, we can always write the answer, right? For an example, if the sum is 15, what do we write? F, right? If the sum is like 14, we write E. If the sum is 12, you can write C, right? But the problem is, if sum is 16 or more, what happens? Because it's possible that your sum is more than 16 or 16. Now, when it is 16 or more, what we do is we subtract 16 from that sum and then write it down. For every subtraction like this, we will have a carry in the next column. Let me show you an example, okay? Instead of just showing the steps. Let's say we want to do this addition. So, the first number is 5C6, and the second number is D65, and we're trying to add these two numbers in hex. Again, we align the number, and then we'll start from the very rightmost column, right? Right column, rightmost column. So in the rightmost column, what do we have? 6 and 5, right? So just add 6 plus 5. What do you get? 11, right? Which is B. Which is fine, right? We can just add 6 plus 5 and sum is B. We just wrote that. Now, let's look at the next column. What do we have in the next column? C is 12, right? And this is 6. So you will be adding 12 plus 6, which is 18. Now you run into trouble. You run into trouble because if you have more than 15, then you actually cannot write it because you have digit up to 15, right? So what happens if you have something like this? I actually show you how to work with this. So C plus 6, which means 12 plus 6, which is 18. But anytime if you have more than 15, what do? You always subtract 16. If it is more than 15, you subtract 16. So that's what I did. I actually subtracted 16. Then I have what? 2, right? So I actually wrote 2 here. But since I did the subtraction, I'll have a carry in the next column. You see what I'm saying? Every time you have to do this subtraction, you will have a carry in the next column. That's what I did. See, I did the subtraction because I had to do the subtraction. I didn't have any choice, right? If I have to do the subtraction, I will have a carry to the next column. See, there is a red 1 at the top of the next column, right? That is because I did the subtraction in the previous column. You see what I'm saying? Anytime you do the subtraction, there will be a carry next column. Now, I have 2 here because of the subtraction. And the next column, what I I have 1, I have 5, and this is what, 13? So how much you get? 13 plus 5, 18 plus 1, which is 19. Again, we run into same trouble. If you have more than 15, you have to do the subtraction, right? So, oops. So I have 19 this time, and again I did the subtraction, which is subtracting 16, and then I'll end up having 3. But since I did the subtraction, I'll have a carry again, right? So I did the subtraction and I got 3 here, and because of this subtraction there is a carry next column. So next column there is nothing, so I just put down the carry here. So my answer is 132B. You know what I'm saying? So let me stop here so then you can take a look at this example and you can try your next questions we have in lab 2A. Make sure again you submit, you save all the answer and submit it, and you can try this just like any other quiz. Again, if you don't get 100%, okay? Let me give a pause so that you can try these hexadecimal additions. So once you are done with the hexadecimal addition, please submit your lab 2A, and again, just like any other quiz, you can submit it again in case you don't get 100%.